starts with an idea. It could be any idea of some animal, and of course many of my pieces are also of the dancers that they perform throughout the pueblos.
Sculptor Michael Naranjo's process of creation is a lot like other artists. There's the spark of inspiration and the development of the idea.
Sometimes these ideas sit inside for, a year, months. They vary.
Yet while Naranjo's works are exquisite, personally revealing, and striking in appearance, they're also a miracle.
After the war, I found that I could still use my left hand, though I couldn't see anything at all, and the right hand is fairly well damaged from the hand grenade blast.
Michael Naranjo was born in Santa Fe and grew up in northern New Mexico, spending time in both Santa Clarita Pueblo and Taos.
Sculpting came into my soul, let's say, when I was very young. As a small boy walking through the town of Taos, going home from school, often I'd walk through town and look at gallery windows and look at sculptures and think, someday when I grow up, that's what I want to do.
Like many men of his generation, he was sent to Vietnam in the late 1960s. One night his platoon came under mortar fire off the coast of the China Sea. At first dawn, they set out to search for the enemy through dense rice fields.
And as I came around the corner, I heard shots. The minute you hear a shot when you're in an open rice field, everyone hit the dirt. And so I jumped up and dove over this dike to my left and went crawling up the rest of the way up to the corner of the jungle. And eventually my squad leader came up, and in between that time, two of my squad members behind me had come up the same way, and they were getting shot at. And their names are on the Vietnam Memorial in Washington. I got in there, my squad leader and I crawled into this little mud depression, and I looked over the mud depression, and there was the Viet Cong in a foxhole who was looking out into the rice field looking for someone else to shoot at. And I aimed at him, and as he turned at me, we looked at each other for a split second, and I shot. And then Yazir, my squad leader, sergeant, said something, and I ducked because I was expecting automatic weapons fire again. But what he had seen was someone throwing a hand grenade. That was it. That was the last time I saw light.
Shortly after his injury, and while still recovering in Japan, Naranjo picked up a piece of water-based clay and began to experiment with his still functioning left hand.
I made an inchworm that was about this long with a little squiggle, a head up and little eyes on it, little mouth. And it took a while before I made it because I was afraid to make it. Because I knew if I couldn't make anything, my dreams of being a sculptor were gone.
Over time, he began crafting larger, more intricate works of art. But in a world of darkness, from where did he draw his inspiration?
I have so many memories of when I could see. Fortunately enough, it makes an enormous amount of difference because I know what the world looks like, what people look like, and of course all the hunting and fishing that I did with my brother.
With his memories as his guide and his hands as his eyes, Michael sets out on the creative process, much the same way as any other artist would.
The minute I touch the material that I'm going to use, and with that thought that I've been carrying inside me for a long time, and often related to an analogy of a mother with the fetus, and when it's ready to be born, it comes out. And the same thing with a sculpture. The idea is there, and at some point it has to be born.
Since Michael's work is so tactile, he encourages visitors to get hands-on with his sculptures, touching, feeling, and experiencing his creations the way he experiences art now.
I've been able to touch many of Michelangelo's pieces and Bernini's, and on a day when the museum Academy Gallery was closed in Florence, I was able to touch Michelangelo's David that built the scaffolding for me. So it was an incredible experience, memorable moments that I will never forget.
Touching Beauty is now on display in the Atrium Gallery of the Bataan Building in Santa Fe. And while you're in town, be sure to visit the New Mexico Museum of Art and the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum.